I wonder, just as a fundamental matter, just how detailed you, David, and the council are expecting us to get. I mean, I came away from this charter saying this thing needs to be built from the foundation, that we need an entirely new charter. I mean, I read through it once and that was immediately apparent to me. That, I mean, I've dealt with charters for 25 years now, and I'm looking at this going, my eyes are spinning in opposite directions, because, you know, there's just such, it just seems so disjointed. And I think that, Colleen, you may be getting deeper into the details of the charter than this committee is going to be able to do. And that's why when Jesse, you suggested we're going to need till past next March, I'm not going to need till past next March, I can tell you right now, to be able to make recommendations to the city council. I have no doubt in my mind that I don't need past next March to make recommendations to the council about the need to change, in broad strokes, the need to change the charter, and that the devils that are in the details are going to have to be dealt with either by some other committee or by a charter commission. But I don't see our role here as, just to take Mary Ann's suggestion, that we need 200 signatures, not 50 signatures. It may be a broad issue that it's too easy to get on the ballot, and we need to look at that, but I don't see us as making recommendations for a number. That's just one example. I think that my experience is that maybe the DPW's autonomy needs to be looked at, but I don't know that we're making recommendations that it ought to be structured in some other way. So maybe I'm missing the charge here, but that's the way I see it. And so I think it's very important for us to get sort of a process down for, or sort of rules of the committee on how we're going to do what we do. But I see what we are doing as being much broader than, than getting into the nitty-gritty of exactly how to change the charter.
I have to agree with Alan. I think I'm going to feel very comfortable having Marilyn come in. And I really feel, hearing how reputable she is, I think she will be the person to help us put what we need in place and to move on.
I think this committee can be as narrow or as broad as we want. When I was talking about if March was enough time, I was citing that our second meeting is going to be in late May. That's we're almost going to be halfway through next year with our second meeting, or this year with our next meeting. But my main goals of being on this committee are very narrow, and they're pretty much embodied in best practices recommendation number 10. I feel like I need, for what I would like to see changed, for what's most important to me, I feel like that could be done rather quickly.
I think there's a difference here in approach, and I don't want to paint all the counselors with one brush, but you guys have your sort of set of issues. I don't have a set of issues other than the complexity of the charter. I don't have any particular matters that I want to focus on. I know that it's apparent you've come with you've at least described one issue that you have. You've described issues that you have. I don't have any particular issues, and I think I'm coming into this just trying to help make this more workable. And it may be your ideas are fabulous ideas, and your idea may be fabulous as well. But I don't have an agenda of any kind other than to make a recommendation to the city on how to simplify this charter.
Well, and the other thing is that I think that's part of what we need to make clear about what our job is. I don't think that it's to make the change. This thing about the role of the mayor in city council and school committee meetings has been on every recommendation on every charter review committee or commission or election since, well, the 2 or 3, anyway, in the history, recent
73.
history, in the last few decades, and ends up getting the best practices. I don't think that it's our role to say, I don't know that it's our role. I don't know this. This is a question. Is it our role to say whether or not the mayor should chair city council meetings, and or whether or not the mayor should be on the school committee? Or is it just our role to say what was said as the issue was raised? It's an issue to look at. Good luck, charter commission. Good luck, city council. Is it just to identify the issues as opposed to make recommendations for the direction in which it should go? I mean, if you're saying that your goal was to change something as opposed to, I thought our job was to identify issues, not to make the change. We are not empowered to make any changes. Maybe to make recommendations, but not to, we don't have power. Am I right? I mean, what am I missing? What's our job? What are we doing?
Well, I mean, if you read it, there's no way somebody could get a copy of it, a citizen, and make any sense out of it whatsoever. It really is kind of a mess. And about any part of it you look at, just to get an answer for how things work, because it's so old and it's been changed in so many different places, for somebody to get it and try and figure out exactly how the city works is near impossible. So, when Alan says, I'm not going to have a hard time recommending that there's a charter commission and this thing get done from top to bottom, that's very true, because it's that disjointed simply because of its age and the arcane nature of it. And that, that part of our charge, yeah, I mean, I have no trouble saying that today, because I read through the thing and tried to figure out what's going on. It's very, very hard. The extent to which we wish to put specific recommendations to the fact that that job needs to be done is kind of up to us. But I don't think by the time we're done, we could be able to recommend much other than the thing get dealt with from top to bottom, rather than a nip here and a tuck there, because that's not going to solve the problem.
I think that's a good point about what Colleen was saying, about our recommendations. I mean, we could, I guess we can make our recommendations whatever we want them to be. We could say the council should explore or possibly vote on, for example, term limits, or whether or not a mayor should chair city council. Or they could come along with a specific recommendation. This council has come through our findings and through our discussions and through our involvement with the public and with government that perhaps we should have, for example, term limits, or a mayor should not chair city council. From where I'm coming from, I'm glad to engage in a philosophical, soul-searching exploration of the city charter, but I think that we need to make specific, clear recommendations. For example, as of today, and I'm open-minded to a robust public discussion, I think we should have term limits, and I don't think the mayor should chair city council. So, I mean, I guess I do have an agenda in that sense. And I mean, that's where I'm coming from.
And where I'm coming from is because of what I'm hearing from constituents of a big problem of during primary for a mayor's race, which is becoming very serious, using $20,000 and wasting taxpayers' money. It's surfacing right now again, okay? And I think to protect the residents out there, that we raise those signatures as far as the numbers. And just like he wants to do term limits, or whatever he wants to do with the mayor not being chair of city council or school committee, these are things that have been brought to us politically on the outside by many residents. So I'm in favor of making recommendations of something that I feel that is of great concern here in the city, and make that recommendation to city council.